Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up, but first, let's take care of our weather. Look like it might be getting a little bit of rain now coming in today and tomorrow, about a 60% chance. But it's going to just sort of dodge around, but then it's going to start clearing on up after that. So high today is going to be 86 and low 77, and that's interesting in itself. It's only a little 9-degree difference, so it's pretty warm when you get up in the morning. So it's around 81 this morning, and it's going to be, that tells you what today is going to usually be like. Water temperature has gone up a couple of degrees also, up to 84 degrees, the Gulf water temperature. Now let's take a look at our river readings brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. We're looking at the Apalachicola Bluntstown at a 5.4, just a little bit of a drop, but it's been a real steady drop there. The Choctaw at Caryville is all the way down, folks, to a 2.5. That is the lowest it has been in a very long time. So be aware of that now. That's pretty low, but it's going to sort of concentrate the fish in one area. That's what the old timers used to say, but they liked it low because they're going to fall, they're going to put them in a little pothole. They're going to go fish the potholes today. All right, the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're looking at a high tide at 10:54 this morning and a low tide at 10:10. This is an excellent week now. Stop and think about it. That tide is coming in. It's going to be high until about, 10, almost 11 o'clock. So those early morning fishing, if you like to fish that incoming tide, which a lot of times those redfish and trout be getting up there in those weeds, it's an excellent week to do that. It's one of the best weeks we've had in a long time with our tidal situation. If it's raining to hold off, it's going to be some good fishing there. Okay, marine forecast, west-southwest at 14. West-southwest at 14. So you got to, if you're fishing that area, you got to get out of the wind. Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We're going to look at a couple of pictures now. Let me explain this first picture to you before I show it to you. This is a snake. Okay, this is a snake up in a marten house. And you ask, how in the world can a snake get in a marten house? They just sometimes find their way in there. Most times, the marten houses are fascinating as far as the pole going straight up and away from everything and all, but snakes every now and then get up in there. And Leo Clemens, here it is, here's a picture right here. Leo Clemens said, I don't care for snakes that eat my marlins. I've had this snake had three marlins in his belly, and they dispensed of the snake, and they knew that it had been up there, so sure enough, he had three martins in his belly. So be aware of that. They can get up in there. Our buddy all the way from Panama City Beach, our fishing buddy Nat. Look at Nat Harris. Look at that. Look at those dolphins they caught right there. That's a good trip right there, Nat. We're proud of you. Good to see you fishing pretty steady like that. Nat is one fine fisherman. His hometown of Mobile, Alabama. We've been here a good while. Okay, let's see right here. This is Jay Atkins went on a trip, and he and his buddies look at. I want you to look at all these. Okay, he went out on a Seminole wind. That was a fine trip last week, Jay. And I'm going to show you some of these pictures. These are some fine. Look at that snapper right there. And let's see. Here, get him off the boat. Get him off the boat there. I missed our trip this year. And of course, his fishing buddy Ming Chung. Ming, glad you watched the show. Deckhand was Jimmy Lee. Okay. Good information there. Oh, David Bird, the willow trees loaded with flies on the big river. Becky Bird getting the net. I want to just hold that to you. Now listen, this time of the summertime now, you really want to check out these willow trees. You're going different hatching, the mayflies hatching. Remember, they hatch at all different times, just not in the month of May. They'll hatch at different times. They have other different little flies and all. So one of the best trees to check out along any river banks, any creek bank, is a willow tree. And you look at that willow tree, and I remember my dad would go up there with a pole and shake the limbs and everything, beat on the limb and see if anything fell out, and we'd just cast under it. So folks still do that trick. So But if somebody up in a tree fishing under it ahead of you, just go on past it. Don't worry about that one. But David Bird and Becky, they had a good mess of fish. Here you go. That's some fine fish right there. Big brim. Now, this is an excellent time to do that. Lee Benoit down in Apalachicola, listen, he went down on one dive, he limited out on grouper and snapper. God continues to bless me. Lee, that is a good dive right there, folks. And you're talking about diving down around Apalachicola. They don't get a lot of pressure down there, as much as pressure we get up here at some of our dive sites. So Lee is an excellent outdoorsman and very, very gracious in his life and all, and just really, really good stuff there. Okay, here's some more of these same. This is the same picture I had earlier. So let me see. I wanted to. Let me see. Got one more in here. Okay, we'll come out of that. Let's go ahead. One thing I want to get back to the mayflies. One thing I want to talk about on those. You don't necessarily have to fly fish. A lot of people think about just fly fishing. I was thinking about this last night. You can just take a cricket, no lead or anything, and just throw that cricket under there, just sort of free float them. And usually the smaller the cricket, the better. But a lot of people just think you have to fly fish up in there. Fly fishing is great. It's an excellent way to do it with different color flies, and it's just a lot of fun doing it with a fly and get it up under there. But what we did growing up and all, we took off the cork, we took off the lead, and just left a hook, a little brim hook on there, and we throw it side arm, just get it up in there. Try not to get too close to the area. So we said whoever's in front of the boat usually had the best shot to get one, but we'd always try to turn sideways. But when you turn sideways, the river flowing. So back and then didn't have to scull around, and not many people are sculling anymore. So now you sort of best way if you can find if you can anchor in front of that tree and let it flow past you, and then try to go ahead and if you got any dead crickets, throw those crickets out there in the water and let it flow. Bring those dead crickets right on down underneath that tree, and that's sort of chumming them up. And we do it in fresh water and salt water chumming, and that's something really good for it. So those little things like that can make a difference in the month of June and July fishing under the willow trees. All right, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. One thing I really appreciate from our viewers is feedback, and a lot of times I get a lot of people commenting on the show, and a lot of times I get a lot of questions and all, and certainly try to answer every one of them. We don't always answer every one, but we sure try to answer every one. And this is from HC and Barbara Slay up there in Bonifay. They've been loyal viewers with us a long time. He called me the other day, and we've talked before, and he said, HC and his wife, they love to catfish and all, and they were up there. They got to fish up in Fort Gaines and Eufaula in that area, and he got word that, when you say get word, you sort of hear word of mouth, but most of the time it's true. The Hurricane Michael did some damage to some of the locks up there or a dam or something. Anyway, they got to repair it. The Army Corps of Engineers have to repair it. And what he's understanding now, they're going to lower the level at Fort Gaines and Lake Eufaula, go down 4 feet, and they got to keep it that way for 90 days to repair. Well, that may not sound like much, but a 4-foot drop now in a lake system is a pretty good drop. So then what that affects now, on downriver, it will affect Lake Seminole. Or they're going to have to, at first they'd have to lower Lake Seminole 4 foot, then lower the next one, then the next one. They have to do sort of a chain like that because you got to allow for nature. So I don't know if Lake Seminole is going to be lowered. So if any of you out there know the answer to this, exactly what their plan is going to be, and the timeline, go ahead and let us know so we can let HC know. He's got to plan those catfishing trips now. That's a big deal. It's a big deal to a lot of outdoorsmen to know if they're going to do something like that. Most of us understand how nature controls it and all with the rain flow and all, but sometimes when man gets in there, we may not know the schedule. So that would help out a lot. And speaking of nature and man, this side right here. We talked about this last week. My buddy Joel King is really jumping on this, helping out. So far, they've helped save our pristine land at Tyndall from commercial development. There's already been over 8,000 signatures, and this, Thomas Cook started this petition, and he's going to send it to Representative Neil Dunn and 27 others. Now, let me go in. I do not know Thomas Cook. I would like to meet him. In fact, I would like for Thomas Cook to come on Panhandle Outdoors and go ahead and give his side as a conservationist and let us know what's going on. And I also would like to invite the Tyndall information officer, whoever it may be, to come on the show and give the side of the what the government's going to do. It's going to be interesting. They're all invited. So if you know Thomas Cook, tell him to get a hold of me or send me his phone number or something. I'll certainly invite him to come on the show. But this is something, folks, that we really have to be on top of. It's just, it just floored me when I first heard it. I thought it was fake news, that they're going to actually commercially develop Tyndall. And some folks say, well, I live up here, way up here in the northern part of the Panhandle, it don't affect me. It does affect you. If they can get away with doing that, they're going to do it up there around one of your state parks or around some other government land and lease it to some commercial developer. So I don't like it. It don't smell good. It just, I don't like it. And thank you, Joel King, for helping out on it. Thank you, Thomas Cook. Thank you, 8,000 plus people for signing that petition. And I'm going to invite Senator Neil Dunn to come on Panhandle Outdoors and give his position, as all of our politicians are welcome to come on and share. From county commissioners, I don't know if our county commissioners, it's going to be sort of out of their ballpark. But anyway, we got to stay on top of this. We just can't lay down and let them just start taking land like that, okay? So anyway, let's go to, people always ask me about fishing tips and all. And this, all of y'all recognize this as a popping cork. And I get tickled because we go through phases in our fishing. You know, sometimes we'll use a certain bait for a while and then we'll switch over this. Sometimes we go to a certain technique and then we'll go to another technique that we've used before. Well, I've used a popping cork quite some time. Started way back, used this old, in fact, you see how faded this one is. This is one of my old ones. But the popping cork, it's leaded. Let me, right here, see, that's a piece of lead in it, okay? I broke that off last night just to show you the lead in there, so it sort of stands up like that. And they're all different kinds, and the history of them is, is interesting, because when I was first exposed to them a long time ago, I said, wait a minute, you mean to tell me you're going to pull it in the water, you're going to pull it, and that concave right there is going to hit the water and pop up, and it's going to make that sound. It's going to make a noise. I said, wait a minute, we always had to be quiet when we fished. You couldn't make that noise. But this actually came out of Louisiana. The original popping cork came out of Louisiana. And I got tickled when we started fishing with them and all. And a lot of people use them. I know a guy down there around the Big Bend area. That's all he uses with his clients and all. So they've developed different ways. This is what they call a Cajun Thunder, okay? And over the development, it's got a rattle in it now. You see the rattle? So I've used it as Cajun Thunder. In fact, here's one right here. And the leader, you want a leader about this long right here underneath it, roughly about this long underneath it. And now you can put a lot of guys use live bait, live shrimp, little small pinfish, whatever. Or a lot of recreational guys can use a jig head, a little jig head. Captain Roy's, his outfit is a derivative of this, but it's a little clear. You've seen what his looks like, a little clear one. Well, I tell you all this, ironically, we were talking the other day when we got on out fishing. I said, let's go back and start fishing with popping corks for a while in our cycle of doing things, and because it's about time we did that. And we agreed for our next fishing trip. Well, I was at Blue Water the other day when I was at Blue Water. Terry came up to me. He said, the hottest thing on the market now. I said, what's going on? I always ask people, what's going on? What's going on? He said, this is called a 4-horseman. It's put out by the 4-horseman tackle company. It's made in cut. I got two, orange and green for motor colors, I guess. So it's made in Cut-Off, Louisiana. So in fact, I had this for the first time I'm pulling out of the box right here. So the makeup on this now, okay, again, it's going, okay, hear the noise, it's going to make a noise, okay, right there. And the lead is attached right here. Instead of the lead being inside the cork, the lead is attached right here. Terry said these are the hottest things going on down his way. And they're really, so if you want any, you better go get them now. They're going to order some more. 4-horseman tackle. I don't know the history of the tackle company, but it's made in Cut-Off, Louisiana, which makes me, the Cajun folks out there, this is how they fish. They fish this way for generations with popping corks making noise. And what I figured out on the noise thing, talking about fish and all, Well, I grew up freshwater fishing, and we had to be real quiet and to sneak up on them. So what I figured, as I look back on it, this is not a scientific study or anything. This is just my opinion from my experiences in my lifetime. You need to be real quiet on the freshwater fish, but the saltwater fish, they don't hear as well as the freshwater fish. So you're gonna have to be real quiet on them. Anyway, if you want to try these, you got a Cajun Thunder here. It's all the same principle. You're gonna make noise, and then you let it sit there 3 to 5 seconds. 3 to 5 seconds, and you pull it again. Okay, you pull it, and it sits there. Pull it, and it sits there. Our next fishing trip, we're gonna take these and try them. I'm gonna still keep some of these old ones too. You get different sizes, it's different things. So this is fishing with a popping cork. It's been around a long time, but like I say, you go through stages doing it. So we're gonna give it a try, and I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna put on. I've got some artificial shrimp, and I'm gonna check the shrimp cycle and see what the shrimp in our bay system doing right now, this part of summertime. But also you can put like artificial crabs, and you can put one of the best things to do is put a little jig on it, a little jig tail on it with a little piece of cut shrimp. Anytime you get a piece of cut shrimp and attach it to some kind of jig or something, it always helps out. Okay, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's look at our blue water outriggers fishing game times for today. We're looking at 2:51 to 4:51 this morning. This afternoon at 3:19 to 5:19. That tide is going to be about halfway out by then. That's what they recommend, 3:19 to 5:19. Now, Gail and I have officially registered for the CCA Redfish Tournament. We did it last night online, and this is interesting. Now, if you look on the bottom right here, it says 2018. This is the ruler. Now, here's the key to it. When you register, I don't necessarily mean you're ready to go. You have to go to your local bait and tackle store and get an official ruler, because when you catch a redfish, you got to take a picture of the redfish with a tag in it on this ruler and send it in. That's how it validates your catch. So it can't be on the ruler on your boat or anything. It's got to be on the official CCA redfish. And I was looking at dates. Ironically, the date on this one, this is 2018, from May 26th to September 3rd. That's 101 days. And remember, we couldn't do it this year because of the pandemic, so that's why they delayed it. It will open up July 1st, which ain't long from here. So July 1st, you need to be ready. And I'll have to make sure Gail registered, because there's a chance she might catch a redfish before I do. And so we both want to be registered. So go ahead and go online and do it. It doesn't take long. And you need to join CCA. It's a good organization. They do a lot of good things too. So here it is. So be aware of that. I'll mention it some more between here and July 1st, because usually we start thinking about scalloping on July. In July, always our mindset has been scalloping. Well, it's going to be another 6 weeks after July 1. It's going to be August the 16th. So we're 6 weeks away. And by the way, I went online last night on the FWC website. They're looking for some information on scalloping. I cannot find anything on it, and I know the pandemic has set them back. You know how they used to do studies? By this time of year, we'd have some results of the surveys. So I don't know if they did any surveys this year. I'll try to call out there and find out, but nothing's online with scallop survey or scallop research. So keep that in mind. One of the things we want to make sure, I haven't heard anybody personally seen, nobody's been out yet. In fact, July 4th, I'm going to do some scouting in some scallop areas and see if they're out there. So I'll give you a personal report after our July 4th break. The Stenhatchee area, all those areas I know of are going to be open the same time. I think the campgrounds are opening up down there. But be sure, I know folks at Presnell's, I've been by there several times the last 2 weeks, 3 or 4 times for sure. And it is packed out. So if you plan on making reservations at Presnell's, go ahead and do it now for scallop season. In fact, there's a chance they're already packed out, but they're just wall to wall there. So if you feel safe doing that, go ahead and do it. The good thing, you'll be outside and you won't be around a group of people, but you are going to be close to people, and boat rounds going to be the same way. Some quick pictures now. On the trips going down there back, I've seen some eagle's nest. I don't get an eagle's nest, but while I was looking at the FWC website last night, check this picture out. This is from their website. Now this is y'all see this right here? This is a salt marsh water snake. And what does it have in its mouth. The question was, will a snake swallow a fish? Now I looked at this closely, and I thought they always took them head first, but don't that look like it's coming from the tail end? And then, so anyway, the herpetologist that worked with FWC said the chances of that snake swallowing that fish are very good. Now, I don't know how, but this you go on the website and read about it. This is down in somewhere around the Everglades and all, but it's here in Florida. But that shows their appetite. Now, what I can say, I've been going by a lot of nests and everything. I just took a picture. It's hard to tell the difference between, this is a little fuzzy here, but the eagle's nest and an osprey nest. I just wanted to take some pictures. These are not my pictures, but you can see the eagles. There are 3 nests on Tyndall, between Mexico Beach and Tyndall. There are 3 nests that we see. One's right by the road. I've showed you that picture, and then 2 of them a little bit off the road, but they're right next to the water area. Okay, all these eagle nests. And here's an osprey nest. It's more flatter. It's hard to tell the difference. Osprey a lot of times will build on a human structure, like a cell phone tower or something like that. But you see the sticks. Also different size in the sticks. The sticks are a lot thicker on the eagle's nest. Okay, here's one in a tree. But see, that's an osprey nest. But to me, from a distance, it almost looks like an eagle's nest. So it's hard to tell the difference. So, and then of course I ran across a hawk's nest, and you see those, of course, smaller, but they build it the same way, same twig structure. So I've got some more pictures. I'm gonna start wrapping things up. But between here, like I said, on Highway 98, during the Tyndall area, some of the area they wanted to develop with the eagle's nest and all that. There's some really pristine property there. I know it looks bad now, all the trees down and all, but that's nature evolving. So I'm so thankful to have Tyndall there and have such an area, such a pristine area to take care of, that we should take care of. So anyway, when you're driving down Mexico Beach, see if you can see 3 of them. 2 of them on the left and one's on the right, and one of them right next to the road. And I'm not sure one in the distance is not an osprey nest. So anyway, check it out. If you can see the big nest pictures, send me the pictures. We'll share it with our viewers. Got to wrap it up. Got a guest coming on tomorrow. Got a big show. Rhonda Groom's coming on tomorrow. Okay? We'll have a great day today. Make sure you do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.